Spotting here in the top left, representing Poland, the Protoss, Bonyth.
And his opponent, a top foreigner Terran. We have our Terran player, Mihu.
So funny to me that everyone outside of Korea is considered a foreigner.
Yeah, it is odd.
We accept
especially
it.
because as an American, and we live in our own bubble, and we sometimes forget the rest of the world exists. I was always under the impression that foreigner just meant non-American.
Yeah. StarCraft is just totally different.
Yeah. I love it though. I love being the underdog, to be honest.
I mean, we kind of have them to thank, because the original game of StarCraft was like a Warcraft 2 skin and everyone hated it, so they kind of threw the project to a different company, and they refined the game that you have today, which is way better than what we would have got in the way of like a Warcraft 2 clone. And they had pro gamers and Koreans helping them balance the game and actually make it into what it is today. So we do have the Koreans to thank for this spectacular game.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, they make sure to let me know every time I hit them on the ladder that this is their game and I don't deserve to be here. So.
There's definitely an air of superiority from those guys. Maybe rightfully so. They've also got better internet, so if it's not 24 low, they're not happy with you.
Look, I get 24 low with my fellow Alabama StarCraft players, so I don't want to hear it.
Start like a farmer league or something.
Yeah, I would, on that note, while we kind of wait for the early game here a little bit with these players, I one day would love to do a StarCraft LAN on my farm. I think that'd be awesome. It's on my to-do list.
That would be kind of funny, actually. Yeah, this is a bit of a niche theme, but I think it would be pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, I would just yeah, I mean, I think it'd be cool to do like a grill, right, of stuff just straight off the farm while doing StarCraft with everybody. We got 3 houses on the property, so yeah. We can make some stuff happen.
Put some people up. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe someday.
Well, Bonyth finally scouting Mihu now, putting some early pressure onto that SCV, almost catching it, not quite finding the alignment to kill it. So close, missed micro ever so slightly. I think he could have got it. He's going to try and get a follow-up kill, but being denied by the Marine. He actually could have killed that SCV with perfect execution, but he messed up on the move commands once or twice.
Yeah, it looked like he it looked like right when he got in range, he clicked the extractor, I think, because it kind of got stuck there for a second.
Something like that.
A little bit unfortunate. We'll just blame it on latency, probably. So, theoretical win for Bonyth.
I mean, the Zealot's going to put on pressure with the probe helping out. There's a third Marine slightly delayed in stopping this. He will eventually get it, and he's got the hole to micro into, but there's a chance he catches a Marine ever so slightly.
Yeah, the factory placement could have come back to bite Mihu, but luckily it was cross-spawn, so the Zealot's not going to get here in time to deny it.
Yeah, it's actually a big deal. Being cross-spawns like this has helped out Mihu a lot. Now the Vulture's out. Doesn't seem like he's going to lose anything.
Oh. A little bit of a hiccup there from the Zealot. Doesn't get its attack off. And yeah, this has been a great start for Mihu so far. And I will say normally this is incredibly risky from Bonyth. But because it is cross-spawn, he's going to be able to get away with it.
Yeah, I don't think Mihu wants to do a strong FD timing right off the bat. It looks like he is just going to expand and chill for at least a few seconds here. So, going to be getting away with a slightly greedy Nexus. What timing was that? Like 20 or 19 or something like that?
Yeah, it's early, so the reason it's super risky is if you go for this Nexus timing and your Zealot dies without getting enough damage, they can just pull SCVs and break it like very, very easily, and the game's kind of just over after that.
Yeah, so yeah, it's not terrible, right? Like, he didn't get the damage he was looking for with the probe harass and Zealot, but he is getting away with a little bit of greed.
Yeah, he's going to have a big advantage on the Nexus timing at least, so while he will be a little bit behind from the opening and the workers, it's going to be made up for with this Nexus timing, so he'll have a slight lead at the end of the day, despite the early game not going great for him.
That barracks being landed next to the gas looks so funny to me. I almost never see that.
Yeah, that is true. I wonder why that would be there.
To stop the Dragoons running behind the gas, I guess, but I don't think that's happening anytime soon.
Yeah, even then you could just move it down more to prevent it from even. Yeah,
It's
so I
very
don't know.
weird, right? I'm curious about the thought. I wish we could just ask him and be like, "Why did you land the barracks there, Mihu?"
Yeah, when I look at that, I'm gonna be honest with you. When I see that barracks placement, that's like something I would do just because it fits nice and for no other reason.
Just because it looks aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, yeah. It's one of those like satisfying things. Like, ooh, that fits really nice there. Let's put it there.
Yeah, if you've got a cube, you want to put it in the square hole, and just for the satisfaction.
All right, this is Mihu 101, by the way. We see this all the time. He's gonna start making more Marines, and he's just gonna go for a push.
Yeah, 3-tank push. It's a little bit weaker in the cross map, but I think it could be strong enough to still work. It's going to be like 5 goons with a few more on the way after that. So there's a threshold where the Terran can actually still do something against this.
By the way, like, how good is Mihu? The timing of this 3-tank push is faster than normal while he was getting harassed. This dude did not miss a single beat during everything that was going on, because normally this gets spotted by the observer as it's coming across, and you gotta go around the observer. But this is going to get here before 6:30, so the observer is not even going to be out when this shows up.
Right. Yeah, this is a really, really tight build order from Mihu, despite all that early game shenanigans. Might actually catch Bonyth off guard a little bit. Only 3 goons here on the left, with 2 on the right, so he's got his Dragoons split up as well. That's a really hard Terran position to dislodge. Yeah, Bunker's also going to be coming down. Oh my gosh, Shazi, this looks so strong.
And so I can talk about a little bit of what I was saying with this map. So if you look at the divot here where Mihu is, if you put a tank on the very bottom of that divot, it can shoot the Nexus and it counts as high ground.
Oof, that's crazy. It does kill 1 tank, it's not terrible, but it's going to be a long time coming until Shuttles and Reavers are out to help, and Bunker's finished up. He's going to repair a few of these units with SCVs and try and leapfrog forward here now. This looks super scary for Bonyth, man.
Is that a turret? That's a turret, right?
I think so, yeah. It's got to be. Once that turret finishes, this is really troublesome, but it's not done yet. Maybe there's a way that Bonyth can try and dislodge this, but it looks impossible. I don't think he's going to be successful in breaking this, at least for the time being.
Yeah, a couple of guns getting picked off as well by these tanks, and the Vulture's even going to come down here and get some mines. And that's a lot of mines to dig through, right? It's only 2 tanks, but you can't really get on top of the tanks with this many mines. And the way you can't shoot any of these mines without getting hit by the tanks. So it's just a ton of buffer here for the tanks.
I'm a little bit surprised that Mihu's taking the fight with the Vultures. Like, I think it's still good because you're killing probes rather than just only killing the Nexus, but I feel like that could be a mistake, because then you got to worry about Zealot bombs and you've not got as many Vultures to clean out the Zealots. Maybe I'm wrong, but I felt like trading Vultures there was not necessarily ideal.
Yeah, it's kind of a win more move, right? Yeah, it's going to try to dive on top of these goons. One of the goons is going to set off a bunch of these mines to go down, but we have the Reaver up here on the high ground. It's going to pick up 1 tank, so that's a lot of DPS down for Mihu, but he's killed a lot of the probes and the Nexus so far, and this position still looks incredibly difficult to break.
Yeah, and Shuttle's just flying on by, going to put on some counter pressure, it seems. But that means he will not be able to mine from this 3rd base. The Vultures and tanks will shut this down. There is another shuttle popping out. I guess he could elevator some units over to defend, but he might be sacrificing his 3rd as well as his natural. But maybe this Reaver can do huge damage back at home. But Mihu's already got some pretty good spread of turrets to help thwart this.
Yeah, there's no vulnerability here. He's got these turrets set up. He's going to try and focus down one of the turrets. He's got to open up a little bit of a position for him. Siege tank is going to set up here, actually out of range, so against both of these turrets. So that's a little something for Bonyth. But like you said, he's going to lose the 3rd Nexus, so this is kind of a I have to kill my opponent play from Bonyth.
Pretty much, and the shuttle is really low HP, so he has to be really careful with how he maneuvers around from this point onwards. Might get some significant damage in the natural in the way of killing some of these SCVs, but Mihu doesn't seem to mind to trade some tanks here and there. He just wants to shut this down, knowing that he's so far ahead of the Protoss after killing both of those Nexuses. Oh, he loses the shuttle! Oh, man.
Yeah, didn't expect that turret to be rebuilt on the top side there, so gonna lose the shuttle, and is gonna kill a bunch of the SCVs, which is nice and all for him, but he's still down 10 workers and on 1 bases, so it's just not gonna be enough for Bonyth so far.
Yeah, this looks absolutely painful. Like, even if he loses like 5-10 more SCVs, he's still not out of the woods because it's 1 base Protoss, right?
Yeah, he'd have to lose like more than 20 at this point. And even then, I still don't even know if that would be enough.
Yeah, he's going to try and break from behind. Reaver landing across the bridge while the Dragoons and Zealot try and run it down onto this trench. He's probably going to kill all of the tanks, so he actually technically has broken out of this. There will be some more forces arriving soon, but he loses the shuttle with the Reaver. Oh my gosh, that might have been Bonyth's hopes at formulating a comeback going down the drain right there.
Yeah, with that shuttle and Reaver going down, I don't really know that he has any chance anymore. He's going to start to chip away at this bunker. He has a lot of goons, but there's going to be mines going down in front of us, so by the time we finally get through this again, this tank is going to have several kills, and, you know, we can't afford to remake another shuttle and more Reavers at this point.
Yeah, I feel like if he had that shuttle on Reaver, this is not an easy game, but it's actually technically doable. But now it feels like he's going to have to trade everything off the board just to try and break these few tanks, and he's got hardly anything left. He's struggling to set up his natural. He's losing quite a lot of probes. There's 47 SCVs to 30 probes, man. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, he's even going to mine out of his main in the next couple minutes at this rate.
He's not even going to be on 2 bases mining in the next 4 or 5 minutes, yeah. Sheesh. Kind of crazy. Mihu's just so good, man. The timing of that 3-tank push cross map was insane, especially while being harassed.
Yeah, it was kind of nuts. It's like 40 seconds faster than mine when nothing's happening.
Yeah, Mihu's about as close to pro gamer level for a non-Korean, I would say. He's just so damn good.
Yeah. I love watching players at this level where it looks like they never look away from their army. Like, we've been sitting here watching this. GG is going to be called. We've been sitting here watching this, and at no point did it ever look like Mihu wasn't controlling every single unit, right? It's like, at what point did he go back and look at his base? Because it just felt like he never looks away.
Well, it's almost like, I know Flash used to hotkey 5 buildings. I know like the average player is only hotkeying 3 buildings, right? And you're probably only hotkeying your Vulture buildings because they need to be built quicker than the tanks. But who knows? Maybe in that situation, he had like 5 factories on hotkey and never needed to look.
Yeah. Yeah, that is, of course, a big part of it, right? Something that I catch a lot of flack for not hotkeying my buildings.
Well, that was one of the things that separated Flash from the other Terrans back in the day, was like every Terran player was complaining about how do you macro versus muta harass. Like the second you look away, they kill you. And Flash is like, well, you just hotkey all of your barracks. What are you talking about? And
you don't look
pretty much no other Terran player was hotkeying that many buildings.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Looks like we can hop into our next game here. It's going to be the last game of the night. It's going to be Bonyth versus Mihu in game 2.
On Dominator. Spawning here in the center right on Terran, representing China, Mihu.
And his opponent here on the bottom spawn from Poland, currently down 0-1. We have Bonyth.
I hope you can get a win on the board, man. I mean, I know Mihu's so good that he's likely to get 2-0, but I'd be super stoked for Bonyth to take a game off of him.
Yeah, it would be great. For Bonyth's confidence as well, if nothing else. I know historically I wouldn't say he's afraid of Mihu, but he knows that Mihu is extremely strong and difficult for him to take out.
Well, we talked about it so much in previous casts, how it's like the psychological aspect of StarCraft is so insane. Like if you'd almost be better off not knowing who you're playing against, just so that you don't, get any 100%. Sense of doubt about what you need to do to win. You're not even thinking about how good this other guy is. You're just playing your A game.
100% agree. I actually, when I was doing my last stream, I matched up against Grindboss on ladder, and someone immediately told me, like, oh, that's Grindboss. And I said exactly that. I was like, guys, please stop telling me when I'm playing against somebody good, because I immediately start playing different, because I'm like, oh, this guy's better than me. I have to play like a moron. So
yeah. Even on a subconscious level, you're going to think that you're going to lose. And even just subconsciously thinking that, it's going to really hurt your chances.
Yeah, absolutely. That being said, I did win, but that's beside the point. I wonder if pat myself on the back there a little bit.
I wonder if that's what can be attributed to a lot of the success from the dominating players, like when Sziky was on his like 4-time back-to-back championship, or Flash in his era of dominance, or eOnzErG and ZZZero back in the day. I wonder if there was a lot of psychology going on there, where there was so much aura and reverence with those players that were known to be good, and that's what made it so hard to beat them. Not just their skill, but just the psychological factor of, I can't beat this guy, he's a god.
Yeah, 100%. That's 100% true. Want to give a quick shout out. Apparently, there's a fellow Alabama player in here. I didn't realize we actually existed. Smoke Coalition, man.
Nice. There you go. You got one guy that can help you with your little farmer land.
Yeah. How about that?
There you go. One stone at a time. You'll get there.
I found the one other StarCraft guy in Alabama.
Nice. Hard part's over, Ozzy.
Yeah.
Nothing but net now.
Alright, gonna get an eBay block here, which against 23 Nexus seems pointless to me. But Mihu probably knows something I don't know.
Yeah, I don't fully understand it either, but maybe there's a timing where the Protoss would have 400 minerals right now. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he did make one extra probe first, I guess, but I don't feel like it's worth it.
Maybe Mihu's used to playing against such good Protoss players that they have better mineral optimization and macro, where it's like, you should have 400 minerals at that point. You just don't.
Yeah, maybe. Alright, Goon gonna check here. I don't know if I got close enough to see the CC.
I think you did. Just barely, I think you did, yeah.
Yeah, actually it would have, because it went all the way up against the bunker, right? So for sure he saw it.
Yeah, gonna be blocking this vulture from getting into any damage. So far so good here from Bonyth. And the eBay block didn't really do anything to him as well, so he's got a small micro lead as a result. Oh, the vulture's gonna get in on 1 HP. That sucks. There's another Dragoon that will pop out soon, but nowhere near quick enough. He's gonna try and hunt down the vulture with some probes, but that also means lost mining time. He didn't lose any probes, I guess, so it's not terrible.
Yeah, getting the vulture kill for nothing is actually, like, just a little bit of lost mining time is a great win for Bonyth, because that's mines that aren't going to be out on the field, right? So that's a big boon.
I'm of the understanding that I don't even want to trade my vulture for 2 probes. Like, Correct. It would need to be like 3 or more to actually be warranted trading off a vulture before mines. It's that bad. Yeah,
I would agree with that sentiment. I used to run in and kill a probe or 2, and then as I got better at the game, I started to... Once I realized that the real value of the vulture out on the map, I realized I need to stop doing that, because it's a big loss in a couple things. You lose a lot of the mines for map control, you can't see the army movement, and Protoss now knows they don't have to worry about it either for a pretty long time.
Yeah. I don't think this attack from Mihu really does anything either. This is just like a probing force which helps lay down some mines in Bonyth's face to maybe, try and be a little bit annoying here. I don't think this is super great from Mihu. Like, he's still not got mine coverage on the 3rd or anything yet, and Bonyth probably doesn't hate his position at all. He probably feels quite good about this so far.
Yeah, so this is something I've been learning about recently. Is these little poke outs, because I also didn't understand. But one of the big things for Mihu is he scouted range and he scouted the goon count, right? So this actually gives you a lot of information, and it does push him into his main so you can get these mines out and continue to have vultures out on the field. Yeah. And just kind of make sure... It just gives you a very good understanding of the game state.
Okay. So, knowing Mihu, this is probably going to be a bit factory-centric. It's going to be a little bit of time before he throws down those additional factories, but he's kind of the guy that pioneered going for like 5 factory style. I wonder if he's going to do that here as well. It'll be a little bit longer until we see him plant those down.
Yeah. All right, here comes kind of the classic move out of the goons with the observer, and this is the next kind of skill check going the other way, where it's like, hey, did you delay your tank?
He left a low HP goon in the back as well. That feels a little bit weak to me. It's going to kill quite a few probes. I think that's risky, right? Leaving a red HP Dragoon in the wall feels bad.
It's pretty risky. It's like 3 goons could have just killed it, even if he did have the block. And it looked like Bonyth did poke in. I think he took a couple of shots. Yeah, goon did go down. And Mihu's up 10 workers, by the way, after this. Like, Mihu's actually really, really far ahead. We're going to dive on top of this tank, and we're going to kill it, but at the cost of just 2 goons and a lot of HP. Not great for Bonyth. He has to find some damage, though. He is not in a good spot right now, eco-wise.
Yeah, no, he has to do quite a lot of damage right now. This is not looking ideal. He's going to get 1 tank low. Does finish it off with a Dragoon base disruption shot, so that's nice. Now we can rotate into the main base, put on some more pressure there. He'll have to find ways up poking holes in the defenses, but as long as he just gets a little bit of chip damage off on these tanks slowly but surely, he can easily turn this into a big lead. He's killed another tank. No more tanks popping out just yet as well. An additional factory's being thrown down. He can't kill the turret because of the pre-repair, which is really nice from Mihu.
And he is looking pretty strong here. This shuttle is going to go down. Going to get 1 Reaver shot off, but the Reaver going to go down. And that is not nearly enough for Bonyth so far. And the shuttle going to get picked off as well. Oof.
Yeah, I mean, 10 workers down, even supply at this stage in the game. Not a good situation for Bonyth, to say the least. And Mihu's going to race ahead in the factory count. Now it's 2 gateway Protoss going to be going up against 5 factory Terran. Bonyth's going to find himself between a rock and a hard place extremely quickly. It's actually 6 factories.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal. So Mihu's going to be committing to a pretty big attack here, which is pretty normal for Mihu. Not surprising at all. And is that an armory as well? Armory Academy, I think? Yeah, so the Academy delayed really, really long here for this push. I kind of like it because he already knew he was up against the Reavers and stuff. He doesn't really care about the scouting and everything. Mihu doesn't care what you're doing. He's going to attack you. This is just Mihu 101.
Yeah, well, Terran optimizations usually center around the Academy, the Armory, and the Engineering Bay, right? Like, it's just a matter of when you get those 3 buildings, that's the big deal. And he's gotten away with only making the eBay for so long, so he's pretty optimized.
Yeah, I kind of like seeing that he kind of favors the turrets a lot more, because a lot of Terrans, they want to avoid the eBay and turrets, but he's kind of showing us a different approach, which is to just go and make the eBay, get it, your few turrets up, and just skip the Academy for a very long time instead.
Yeah. And this mine is quite cute as well. He's getting like lots of scouting information without losing the mine, so he can see when the probes are transferred and what have you. He can get a good read on the game state.
Yeah. Yeah, it is strange, or maybe not strange, but we'll say interesting, that he chose not to block the Nexus placement.
Yeah, well, this attack looks super scary. I mean, he kind of has to slow this down with a Reaver, and he's going to just try and dunk on the tanks with a Mine Drag. Not successful in doing so, drops the other Zell on top of the tanks with the Reaver, gets 1 good Scarab off. There's definitely a chance of breaking through these tanks a little bit, but he kind of needs to fall back after killing 2. He's kind of standing and fighting a lot right now, which is going to go...
That's 3 tanks? Oh, no. Oh, sorry, I just... loving the Reaver shots here. He's doing it between the siege tanks. Unfortunately, the goons do go down, but he like really punished the siege timing there from Mihu. They were kind of playing a mini game where Mihu only sieged like 3 tanks, was using the rest to target the Reaver, so that you can't drop it between the siege shots, right?
Yeah.
And then as soon as Mihu sieged the other 3 tanks, he drops the Reaver out of range of the other tanks and gets some big shots. So that's kind of like the little things that Bonyth is very good at. Here we see the Stargate coming down, and I say attacking is Mihu 101, carrier transitions is Bonyth 101.
You're not wrong, and you're right. That actually wasn't terrible for Bonyth. Like, the game state is looking a little bit more normalized. It's still not fantastic for Bonyth, but he's finally ahead in probe count. He's slightly ahead in actual supply. Not as much as maybe he should be, but it's a lot less lopsided. Like, this will eventually look a lot more like a normal game here, gradually.
Yeah. Yeah, and now it's kind of the next part for Bonyth where it's a little bit scary. You almost like hold your breath for the next several minutes. Unfortunately, it does get scanned immediately, so that's going to be pretty brutal for Bonyth. Because the whole thing is, when you're doing carrier transition, you're typically vulnerable, right? There's a stage where you're vulnerable to a push timing. Mihu scans exactly when those carriers are starting, or at least the fleet beacon, so he, in his head, will have an exact timing, and look at the factories coming down. He is gearing up for some serious army production.
He's got like a 3-minute window to make the attack work, so the first like minute and a half, 2 minutes are gearing up for the last minute of that window to punish, right?
Yeah, these Reavers are going to have to do a lot to buy him time and fight backwards here. But Bonyth is amazing at it. He's one of the best.
If anyone can do it, it's him. Let's see if he can pull it off. He's got, 5 or so Goliaths here. They can 2-shot shuttles. But you might not select the right shuttle. You might kill the shuttle which has Zealots in it or something as well. It's definitely a way of Bonyth navigating this into a win. He just needs to stop Mihu's advance when it finally comes.
Yeah, it does kill that observer, so it's going to blind Bonyth a decent bit. It's going to make it much harder for him to control these Reavers, and we see that on Siege, so that push coming from Mihu will be pretty soon. And the one positive, if I had to pick a positive here for Bonyth, is that it is a mineral-only base, so he's not going to have a lot of gas for mass Goliath.
Right.
Oh.
Ooh, that shuttle was so low. Oh, God. Yeah, he's already got way more Goliaths.
Now, right?
Yeah, he's anticipating the carriers, so he has a little bit more Goliaths than he would usually have. So these shuttles need to be super careful. Trying to get a few good Scarab shots off. Finding one, it's not terrible, but he's running out of space. Mihu is seizing a lot of territory towards the Protoss Natural. One more shuttle going down. No more Zealot bombs available to him. And he's still like a minute off from not only getting the first 2 carriers up, but actually building up a decent interceptor count. And Mihu's already ahead of schedule with how many Goliaths he's been able to produce behind this.
Look at how fast Mihu gets across the map against this. It's so hard to do this quickly and efficiently like he's doing, but he's had almost no weaknesses to the Reavers here. He's finally going to get one good shot off here, or I guess a second good shot. And then, but he's already here, he's set up. Like,
yeah.
He fought against these Reavers across the map so quickly.
Yeah, we got the leg enhancements as the second timing to try and hold this off, but so many Terran units are already in position to thwart this. He's losing pretty much every infantry unit he's got, falling back to the safety towards his rally point. With only 2 carriers finished up, it's going to take so long to max out those interceptors as well. By the time he does, there'll be more and more Goliath streaming across the map. He's running out of time to squash this push from Mihu, and he's not got enough meat on the bone, it looks like.
Yeah, it does have these 4 goons also at the top of the map still running around his third base, which I don't know that those 4 goons would really make that much of a difference, but it's still he did every unit that he can muster. But Mihu gonna get to the natural here, and these carriers are out. They maybe got like, what, 4 or 5 interceptors. They're still not completely ready to fight. He's just doing everything he can to try and hold on, but there's a lot of tanks left over, so this can be pure Goliath behind them.
Yeah, Mihu doesn't even really need to make tanks anymore. Bonyth going to target his own building to deploy those interceptors ahead of time so he can at least have more alpha damage, but you kind of need 4 carriers to even start to fight this, and just as the other 3rd and 4th are popping out, Mihu's already knocking on the door, so he will not have enough interceptors to fight back this threat. He's actually targeting down some of the Goliaths with the Zealots, and now getting on top of the tanks with those carriers, but Mihu has the win condition of also killing interceptors now. He doesn't have to kill the carriers at all, just needs to kill interceptors, and even split off 3 tanks and knock out the 3rd perfectly. This is like Terran 101 for dealing with carriers from Mihu.
Yeah, I feel like Neo's played this game almost perfectly from beginning to end. I mean, the timing for when he pushed was absolutely perfect, right? It was Bonyth just finally got ready as the Goliath are showing up, and he got him across the map so quick. That's one of the hardest parts about this when you're playing against this, is getting across through the Reavers and through the army quickly before the carriers are out and build up too much of the carrier or interceptor count, right? But he just did it so quickly, and he's going to push Bonyth back. With 2 bases going down here for Bonyth. He's only on 1 base mining, which is also about to be mined out. Down 60 supply. Gonna fight here last little bit, but Mihu excellently